And I actually encountered Louise not through the church where she'd prayed for healing, but because she left that church because of the story that unfolded in her life. You see, she was part of a church where they believed that people could have miraculous healing, and they believed that it was possible for God to deliver on the impossible. That if there was an impossible thing, God would deliver on that, and all people needed to do was pray for it, and they needed to have faith. And Louise had some kind of kidney issue, and I can't quite remember why she had this kidney issue, but it was affecting her life, affecting her ability to work, and she had to go on regular dialysis and regular kidney treatment. And the team at her former church got around her and prayed for God to deliver a miraculous healing. And week after week they prayed this, and in their eyes saw nothing happening. And this church actually started to blame Louise for having a lack of faith, and there must be something that she's just not believing that God can do the miraculous, and that's why God wasn't delivering on the healing. And Louise actually started to look at her life and started to see that she wasn't getting an issue solved with the kidneys, and she wasn't getting miraculous healing, but she started to actually notice that God was delivering miraculous provision in her life. And where other people with the same disease maybe had a lack of ability of resource to be able to fund to buy medical equipment in their house, she seemed to have the provision to be able to buy into her house some of the resources that she needed to make her life a little bit better. The other thing that Louise started to notice was that as she started to encounter people outside of her former church, and they started to see how she was living out her faith with this disease, trusting in God, and still had a strong faith, that was actually a great witness to them, and she was actually starting to see signs where God was bringing into her life people who also had chronic illness, maybe not necessarily kidney disease, and they too were actually seeing her faith, and actually that was strengthening their faith. And when I encountered Louise, I actually found that she had a very strong faith. In fact, it wasn't a lack of faith that had led to her not seeing the miraculous outcome, but perhaps that God was actually trying to use her in a different way, and not her testimony being that she had a miraculous healing, but that she could have a strong faith and believe in God's provision even though she had a chronic illness. And I wonder in your life, maybe there's some people watching today where you've been praying for God to deliver a miraculous healing, and you haven't seen an outcome to that miraculous healing, or even just not even just a physical healing, but you've been praying for God to deliver on the impossible in your life, a financial breakthrough, a housing breakthrough, a relationship breakthrough, and you have not seen that miraculous delivery, and you've been wondering what God is doing, or maybe you've even said, maybe it's because I don't have faith. Well, the Bible tells us that we need to believe that God can do the impossible. But God doesn't always choose to do the impossible to be the witness to the world, that maybe actually God's glory comes through people who have suffering in their life, have hardship in their life. The way that they still have faith in their life will actually be the witness to the world of God's goodness and God's glory. And maybe there's something in your life that you've been praying for breakthrough and you haven't seen it. But perhaps actually you need to start asking God, how will you use me to be a witness to people who are also going through a similar thing?